Well, hello everyone. Hi everyone joining us today, or if you're watching on demand, it's a pleasure to welcome you all to this session today, Modernising SCADA with Proficy Configuration Hub. So really, as SCADA environments continue to grow across multiple sites, there's teams that are facing new challenges around standardization and managing the configuration and scalability. So today we just wanted to explore how Proficy Configuration Hub can help simplify these complexities, by enabling a more centralized configuration, streamline project delivery, and support, modern, future-ready SCADA architectures. So today's event is part of our systems integrator educational series called Tech Talk. They're all designed to raise awareness, deepen knowledge of new products, enhancements, technology trends, with the goal of helping system integrators to improve things like productivity, helping you solve customer challenges, and also uncover new revenue opportunities. The system integrators, your expertise is invaluable to your customers. So today, and for the rest of the series, we aim to provide information that can help deliver greater value to your install base. One second. So today you've got myself, I'm Ben Latham, and I'm the director of the Solution Provider Program. I'm based in the UK. I'm the host for today, but most important of all really is our speaker. And today I'm joined by Chad Smith. He's the product manager for our automation portfolio. He's focused on Simplicity, one of our SCADA platforms. But he's been in the business for a long time in many technical roles, and he'll be a great person to talk about the subject today. Just quickly, safe harbor, during the session, if we discuss future roadmap enhancements that aren't committed right now, you can always check with us or refer back to us if you've got any questions around them as to what you can do with those things. From a housekeeping perspective, you should see buttons like this, like you see on the slide here on your screen. The orange chat bubble is where you can submit questions throughout the session. We'll be sure to try and get to them at the end or follow up via email. Please, we encourage everyone to use that. Now's the time to ask the questions. The purple button is an email icon that will come through to myself or Paul or one of the team for more information on the Solution Provider Program. The blue paperclip icon is where you'll find additional resources, right? How to access training, find product information, or even just hear more updates from us. You've got the question mark button, which is where you can get technical assistance. One thing we always say, if you are having issues today, try refreshing the browser. That does tend to fix most things. And we also have the feedback survey available through the pink clipboard icon. That's where we really want to hear your feedback on these sessions, things you're experiencing with your customers, and ideas that you want to hear next as well. We'll take that all into consideration. As I said at the start, just a reminder, this session's recorded. You'll get the details sent out via email, so be free to look out for that, reference back to the materials as you need them. And then finally, for me, before we dive in, you saw the video at the start, but it's important to share our recent news and keep mentioning it because it's actually been less than 2 months. We are now Velotic. So we're now an independent software company bringing together Proficy, Kepware, and ThingWorx. And it's really an exciting time for us. It's a startup, right, but with 40 years experience. So we're not just a collection of brands. We've got this combination of capabilities now that can help customers connect across complex systems, improve operations, and then extend value to other applications to utilize things like AI or authentic intelligence. And it's just important to share as well that our value is focused on still being open and interoperable with all brands. You'll continue to see business as usual from the Proficy perspective, as well as ThingWorx and Kepware, if you deal with those as well. Over the coming months, we'll be rebranding, we'll be updating our systems, and you'll see this in our materials, and you'll eventually be getting those new logos, etc. as well. And over time, we'll make sure that people can get access to the other products as part of our portfolio. Reach out to us if that's something you're interested in. There'll be more announcements coming. Stay tuned. And if there's any questions, feel free to reach out. And with that, I'll take the opportunity to hand over to Chad to take you through the session today. Thanks, Chad.
All right. Hello, everybody. Glad to be with you today. I'm excited to talk to you about our Configuration Hub capabilities with our Proficy products. So I'll just move to the next slide here. So I'm going to start off just kind of talking about the history of how Configuration Hub came to be, what we're trying to solve with it. Configuration Hub is not a product per se. It is actually an enabler for all of our products, and it's really is meant to be and will become over time more and more the single pane of glass, so to speak, for our product configuration and central management. So what we had found that when we started to design and come up with the concept of Configuration Hub a few years ago was that a lot, across our portfolio, each different product had its own configuration interface and administration. And so you can see here, and for example, in this kind of small diagram at the bottom, that if you had iFix, for example, and Historian on the same box, you had to go to completely different configuration interfaces to be able to configure them. And that configuration continues today, but more and more, the capabilities that you would normally be able to do, have to go directly to the box to do. We're bringing those capabilities into Configuration Hub, into a web-based configuration experience and a centralized experience. So the goal, instead of having to go to each individual product where it's installed on a server and individually configure it there, the goal with Configuration Hub is to be able to bring that into a centralized configuration experience. And we're getting there quickly on most, if not all, of our Proficy products. So, the goal was to bring, so that's one of the goals, is to be able to, of Configuration Hub, is to bring a centralized configuration experience where no matter what products you have installed in your system from our Proficy portfolio, you'll be able to manage them all centrally. And what that does as well is it really opens up for us opportunities to do a lot of centralized functions across products. So for example, the ability to deploy licensing from a central location in Configuration Hub, and I'll demo a little bit of that. And to be able to handle certificate updates centrally instead of on individual boxes, right? To handle security, to configure a common set of users and groups and roles that are applicable across all of your deployed systems instead of having to separately administer multiple security setups. And over time, we continue to see there will continue to be capabilities added to Configuration Hub that centralize common functions across our portfolio. We'll just switch to the next slide here. Oh, which slide am I on here? I think, sorry. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah. Oh, this is just some animation. Sorry, I didn't quite follow that. So through, you can kind of see at each individual product that you would have different configuration experiences here. I'm just going to go to the next one here. So where we went from there, and as we designed Configuration Hub, you can see some of the goals that we had here. So the idea is that now, wherever you have Proficy products installed, along with the installation of every product, we are now including what we call a node manager. Essentially, it acts as an agent to convey communications from a central configuration location called Configuration Hub. So what that allows us to do is to host the configuration UI for every product centrally, gives you visibility across everything that you have installed, wherever it is in your plant floor. It, as I mentioned, it allows us to centralize licensing, certificate management, federate security, and keep track of all of your products across the suite, including the ability to kind of see what versions are installed, what SIM patches are installed, and then all of that is secured with our Proficy authentication OAuth 2 security, so centralization of security as well. And so then, as I mentioned, that node manager then becomes the interface between the products that are installed on any given server in your plant floor, and then it brokers kind of the UI interface, it brokers the certificate management and things like that. So let's see if I want to go to the next slide here. So the flow of that, well, we got multiple animations here. Oops, go back one. Yeah, sorry, the flow. I just didn't realize how many animations I had on this slide. So yeah, so here, put this on the main stage so I can do this better. So yeah, so the idea is that we kind of have two ways to get, once you've installed a Proficy product on a given server, you can continue to interact locally with that project, both from a configuration point of view and from a runtime point of view. But then, what we allow you to do, there's kind of multiple ways to get a product into centralized management. So once you install a product, you can essentially, from that install, choose to register that product or the products on that server with a central configuration hub. So you can register it, and then it creates that connection, and it secures that connection through ensuring that you have a Proficy authentication presence or login. So, you can imagine, by becoming distributed and centrally managed, we have to be very aware of security, and not just anybody can register and start changing your product. So it's all done very securely. And there's a registration from a push point of view where a product can push itself up into Configuration Hub for management. There's also the ability to, once when you install our products, once it's established that it's using Proficy authentication, then you can also centrally go into our Configuration Hub interface and reach out and pull registered or installed products, Proficy products, into Configuration Hub for management there. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you can bring our products into a central configuration experience. Let's see where the next button is here. So this is a bit of a kind of an overview of the architecture, and a little bit more colorful, but essentially it kind of describes what we've been talking about. So again, centrally, you can install a configuration hub. You can install it on a node that already has Proficy products on it, or you can install it on its own server. Typically, if you're managing multiple Proficy products, you'll want to install it on a central server. And then, the individual servers with Proficy products installed will all register with that configuration hub. So you have that central location where you can have the unified configuration UI experience, where you can have visibility into the different registered nodes, where you can integrate and have a central security experience in terms of setting up your users, connecting your identity providers, things like that. And then, continue to do central functions like certificate management. So then at the next layer, like I talked about, wherever you install Proficy products, you'll have the node manager installed with those products, which can broker that interface in a secure way. And it allows that kind of on-node ability to collect metrics and logs. It can, have access to the system locally to retrieve information about what version you have installed or what patch you have installed. And then, of course, our products continue to run in the way they always have on their nodes, where they can interface with that level 1 infrastructure where you're pulling in data and alarms from PLCs, where you're collecting historical data, doing all the things that our Proficy products do so well, but with this layer of visibility that comes by exposing in a secure way key information up into a central location. And then, of course, because you are managing the configuration centrally, we have a way, the ability to securely deploy that configuration and publish that configuration back down to those Proficy products in a way that lets you update, keep systems up to date, or monitor what's going on at that level. So that's kind of in a nutshell an overview of our configuration hub implementation. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to, let me just move the slide ahead here. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and actually give you a live show of a configuration hub experience. So let me just pull that up. Go to share screen. Let me share the right screen here. Okay. All right, I think I'm showing, how do I know if I'm showing the right screen? Yeah, I think I'm showing the right screen there. There you go. Okay, so what you see here is kind of the login page. So again, like I mentioned, it's a fully web-based experience. So you come into a browser from anywhere that has a secure, network connection to some configuration hub server, which has a web server enabled on it automatically in a secure way with Proficy authentication set up for secure login. So then from here, you can go ahead and log in with whatever user you've set up to administer or be able to interact with all of your systems centrally. Go ahead and log in here. So you come into kind of this integrated development environment that has a number of capabilities to kind of work with the different systems that are registered with your configuration hub. So out of the box, we just come here. Out of the box, we include in configuration hub the Proficy authentication configuration experience where you can set up your security. Oops, where do I want to go here? Pull this open. So just pull up the node manager, and what this does is it lists for you every product that you've registered to be centrally managed. And I'll come back to that as it loads here. But then, so it's going out and kind of ensuring that each of the nodes that are registered are available to interact with. So you can see here, and we have the ability to kind of organize the nodes in the system into folders. So in this configuration hub setup, we've got a central operations folder where we've registered some of the other central products that work together with multiple products, like our operations hub. We have a central historian. So you can kind of click on any of these and get information about that node. You can see what its certificate details are. You can see what the license details. So in this case, we know that we're working with a 2025 historian, and it has some information about what it's licensed for. You know, similarly, we can see that for any iFix nodes that are registered. I've got a Simplicity node registered here, as well as an MQTT client talking to an MQTT broker. So in this view, in Configuration Hub, you can have a centralized view of all the nodes that are in your system, as well as details about what versions are registered, and just some details about the plugin and its certificate information. So this is, again, a centralized way to see what is in your system. This same set of folders and registered nodes, you know, appears in the navigation panel, so you can continue to do actual configuration. So I'll start by highlighting some of, you know, out of the box, we come, like I mentioned, with Proficy authentication, which allows you to connect to identity providers like LDAP and SAML. You know, SAML gives you some abilities to do multi-factor authentication. You know, many of our customers and many of you have probably set up connections to a central Active Directory or LDAP server so that you can kind of tie into existing user management. Then, of course, you can set up groups that control kind of which areas of security you want to give access to users. And then you can actually centrally set up and manage your users in a single location. And so as you kind of manage a user, you can, you know, reset passwords, you can identify which groups that user has access to. So for example, if I wanted to I wanted to manage an iFix server over here, and in that iFix server, I had set up certain permissions for different groups to do different things. You essentially assign that group, gets pushed up from that iFix server into Proficy authentication. And when I grant access to this user, to that iFix group, when I log in to Configuration Hub and open an iFix server, like this one, for example, it checks and makes sure that I can, you know, have permissions to be able to configure this iFix project. So I'll jump right to that iFix project, for example. Here on the left, you can see that this iFix server is running the default project, and I can go ahead and centrally manage that project. So whether it's the PLC connections or the database itself, I can get a view of the tags in the tag database. And you know, depending on my permissions, I can even modify that database, add new tags, delete tags. I can actually select a tag, and you can see in the details panel, I get all the information about that tag that I have configured in iFix. And I can even, you know, modify a set of properties. And as I make modifications, you can see here the status. It doesn't immediately impact the running system. That could be dangerous, but you can basically sandbox those changes in an unpublished state. And when you're ready and feel like you want to actually deploy, you know, then you can deploy and publish those changes, and then they take effect on the iFix server. So again, centrally, we are able to kind of see multiple iFix servers, multiple iFix viewers, multiple Simplicity servers and viewers, and historian, etc. So I've kind of shown you the configuration, central configuration of security. I mentioned the ability to actually manage and see all the licenses in your system in a central way from across all of your servers. And then not only can you see those licenses, you can actually add in new licenses and deploy them to a registered Proficy product. So instead of having to, go out and individually apply licensing at every node that you may have installed on your system, you can actually register all those to be centrally managed and manage it in this central way in the Configuration Hub. So, you know, we've talked about some of those central key things that we can do across products. I've shown you here that you can manage iFix projects. You can also manage, like I mentioned, a central historian. So historian administration has fully moved into Configuration Hub. Everything you could use to be able to do, and in some cases still may be doing in your historian administrator, you can do that all centrally. So you can see here in historian, you have the ability to see all of the collectors that are running against that historian. You can see the actual tags that are in the historian, and then do filtering, etc. I can look at the last 10 values just like you could in the original administrator. So all of that functionality has been centralized into Configuration Hub, and you can manage it all here in one place. So that's some key capabilities there. Like I mentioned, simplicity is available. Simplicity, there is a bit of an evolution of our products moving into Configuration Hub. Simplicity, for example, can do a few things like browse and create OPC UA servers. So you can browse and create tags into a Simplicity server from Configuration Hub, and do some web space management. But as we go forward into the next releases of Simplicity, we are also going to fully bring in the Simplicity configuration experience into Configuration Hub. So I highlight that just to say that, there is, many of our products have moved their configuration into Configuration Hub, and the goal and the plan that we're working on is to bring all of that configuration into one central location. So whether you want, and not only can you manage it centrally, but the same experience will be available locally as well as centrally. So you'll have a common web-based experience across all of our portfolio. So that's the essential goal and intent of Configuration Hub, and we can do much of that today. The other example I'll just end with here is we can centrally manage our visualizations with our Operations Hub capability to kind of create web-based HMI and visualization experiences in a central location. And so in Operations Hub, you can see that I can fully manage my Operations Hub applications, which essentially are sets of web pages that create an HMI experience. So for example, we have an automation demo here. If I open that up, you can see, just open that up here and configure that. So I can edit. So it comes with a full editor to be able to create a web visualization. You can see in this one, it comes out of the box with many kind of high performance graphic widgets and trend and alarm viewers, as well as the ability to, you can bring even in maps and drop markers on a map. And then, as you configure that and connect that to other parts of your, other Proficy products that are also centrally managed in Configuration Hub, then you can launch, actual web page based HMI visualizations that are configured centrally in Configuration Hub, and then you can even be launched from there. So, this is just an example of something that we've been able to, that we built for an automotive example. So again, you have out of the box capabilities that you can configure centrally to have central visualization experiences. So that's just a quick high level overview of the actual product that can, again, not an actual licensed product. Is this Configuration Hub is built to be installed and used across our portfolio products as part of the offering that comes with Proficy. It's not there's no extra cost for Configuration Hub. It essentially is that central single pane of glass where you can see and work with and configure all of our Proficy products going forward. So that's the demo. So I'll just stop sharing there. And yeah, so I'll just conclude by saying, this capability to have this centralized experience is especially helpful for setups that have multiple of our Proficy products running on different servers, and gives you the ability to not have to manage those individually, but to do it centrally. So with that, I'll turn it over to our question and answer period, I think, and we can talk through any questions that come across.
Yeah, we'll just go through a few bits first. It was cheers for that, Chad. I think we've got a few questions coming in, and there's a bit more time for people to post them. I'm sure we've got plenty of time for that now. So yeah, just thanks for that. It's a really great demo as well. Showing how we can help reduce the manual work. Reduce that chance for errors that manual work creates, and you can help manage change control, and it helps with rollouts, etc. So yeah, really good. Just a few things before we get to the Q&A, just to give you a few more minutes to post your questions. Proficy User Conference, this is next week, so we look forward to seeing many of you there. Do find myself or Paul Adams, and it is still open. If there's any last-minute registrations and people want to make it, then feel free. It is a global event this year, and it's not just a conference. There is opportunities for training across automation, MES, historian, and scheduler, just to name a few. Excited for that next week. There we go. This is moving on. Just again, from a training perspective, so again, the things that you see on these sessions, there's always something that you can then go back to afterwards. And we're always developing these new courses for our system integrators, and especially short ones. So there's new ones that we're creating all the time. The one on the screen here you'll see is for scheduler, which was released quite recently. But if you're on today's call, you'd probably be interested as well in the HMI SCADA, secure communications, historian, and there's a portfolio solutions track as well. They include self-directed courses where you get access to actual demo software, and you go through an actual project, so they're really good. And there's also a quick set of courses like what's new. They show you changes in the recent versions, so you can quickly get updated with things. Point out, you do also all have access to a instructor-led training seat as part of your entitlement per year. So again, reach out to myself or Paul if that's something you're interested in, and we can help you get access to those courses. And then finally on this part, we do have a demo tool as well. So things like that Chad just demoed before, and all the other products, there is a demo tool available, so you don't have to create them yourselves. If you want more info, it should be in the more information section, but if it's not there or you need to find out, reach out to me or Paul again. And we will get you the information to get your hands on that demo site. Finally, on the conference next week, if you are coming, then we encourage as many of you as possible to join the hackathon. Why not showcase your skills, working together to solve this real-life problem that we've created with Proficy software. Reach out to Amy Wooten. Her contact details are here to get involved. Or again, let us know if that's something you need to find out. There is definitely still spaces left. And then with that, we can have time for the Q&A section. So I don't know, Chad, if you've been looking in here yet, if there's any you'd like to focus on.
Yeah, I'd like to start kind of at question 5, I think. Do you want me to read the question and then talk to it, or
Yeah, go on then, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so let's start with the first one that came in. I know it is not in scope of the presentation, but do you know where I can find a roadmap for next 3 to 5 years for Simplicity and iPower with Insights, how it is developed? Yeah, so you're talking to the right person. I'm the Simplicity product manager, so just please ping me or send me an email. We can set up some time to go through that. We definitely, we have a good roadmap, both for the 2026 release, which is coming out in August, as well as we're just starting to plan, our 2027 release, but we certainly have themes that we're ready to take on. So we'd be happy to share those with you. So please reach out to me, or if it's easy to reach out to Ben or Adam or Paul, they can forward it to me as well. Yeah, next
Nice.
question, Proficy configuration. Oh yeah, sorry, you ready?
No, sorry, go on, go for it.
Yeah, next one was from Rajiv. Proficy Configuration Hub will also have Simplicity SCADA and Tracker ? So yeah, so as I mentioned, we are in our 2027 release of Simplicity, we are going to have a major effort to bring all of the configuration of Simplicity for project configuration into Configuration Hub. Tracker, we also have plans to do that. Whether it will be a parallel effort or a subsequent effort, we're still trying to determine, but the goal is absolutely to bring a better configuration hub to Tracker, and we would do that through a configuration hub interface. We wouldn't do that as another, Windows only based configuration. So configuration hub would be our platform for doing that. So definitely on the roadmap and in our plan starting in 2027. What is the latest version of Config Hub? Is it available as a separate product installation? Can the latest version be used with iFix 2024 and Historian 2024? Yeah, so to date, Configuration Hub typically ships with our products and has its update on our yearly cadence of our Proficy portfolio releases. Actually, I believe this coming release of Configuration Hub will have its own installer, especially for providing patches and updates, security updates, etc. But it typically comes in our integrated installers that come with our products. So you typically don't install it as a separate installer, but as I mentioned, it is typically installed on a separate machine using our integrated installers. So Configuration Hub is the way we've designed it, and I didn't fully mention this in my presentation, but the user interface for configuration doesn't actually live in the Configuration Hub install. It actually still exists with the products, and the products serve that configuration UI web-based experience up to Configuration Hub on demand. So what that allows us to do is to be able to, even with newer versions of Configuration Hub, still host older Proficy version configurations in Configuration Hub. So the answer to your last part of your question about iFix 2024 and Historian 2024 is yes. If you install Configuration Hub 2025 or 2026, you will still be able to register and host and configure older versions of iFix and Historian back to where we started supporting Configuration Hub. So I think 2023, for example. So the answer to that is yes, that's how it's designed to work. Darbrin, did you include a GPC PLC in this example? Not quite sure what the context of that is. But, as I mentioned, in iFix, if you're configuring a connection to a GPLC, you'll be able to set that up, inside of a Configuration Hub, connections section of the configuration. Same thing with Simplicity. We don't have a separate configuration for PLCs, but you'll be able to set up connections to PLCs from a Configuration Hub interface. Gregory Hedrick, as Simplicity configuration is migrated into Config Hub, will this include screen editing? Great question. I think you're probably saying, will we bring like SimView or SimEdit into Configuration Hub? And the answer is likely no. Our strategy going forward for HMI and screen development is Operations Hub, and it is continuing to develop better and better HMI capabilities, including SVG editing and things like that. But as well, watch for this in our user conference and going forward, we are increasingly looking at ways to give you access to AI developed screens as a starting way to make screen development faster. And so, the goal is to centralize that screen building experience into a web-based screen building experience. And that's what we're building into Operations Hub and will continue to enhance going forward. That being said, you have a lot of investment into your screen development, I'm sure, with SimEdit and SimView, and same thing in iFix. So if you're not aware or haven't seen, Operations Hub does have the ability to embed existing HMI screens from our Proficy SCADAs into the Operations Hub experience. So using our web space technology, you can embed a web space widget in an Operations Hub screen that is interactive with other controls on that screen. So you can essentially kind of overlay or include your existing screen experience and then enhance it with Operations Hub screens in one integrated environment away. The other thing I will mention is that, again, if you have a chance to get one of our roadmap updates, one of the things that we're offering here in this next quarter is we'll be, and in our next releases, is an updated Chromium web control that you can embed in your iFix and Simplicity screens, and then be able to also include Operations Hub widgets and screens inside of your screen. So we have a kind of both ways to kind of ease that hybrid experience where you have existing screens but want to move to the next gen experience of using a web-based HMI. So we have a couple of solutions there. Yeah, go ahead.
Darwin posted a follow-up question, I think. So you said about the GPLC in this example, and then asked, do you also include quick panels?
I'm not quite sure still what that means in the sense of being able to configure quick panels in Config Hub. That's currently quick panels. I guess I'd have to understand a bit more about that question.
Maybe reach out to us, Darwin, afterwards with that specific.
Yeah, we can get a little more clarity there for sure.
Okay, Michael McCormack.
Where are we at? Yeah, lots of questions. Okay, I love the publish staging for database. Yeah. Oh, is this Config Hub really beneficial for single iFix historian location? So yeah, so it is designed to centrally manage typically more than one Proficy product. However, what you'll see in 2026, starting with iFix, is that the same configuration experience you have in Config Hub, i.e. web-based, that same experience will be available locally. So we're looking to, even on the box where you install Simplicity or an iFix, you'll be able to open up a local web page and configure in the same environment and the same screens, be able to configure our SCADA and HMI products locally. And then as you're ready to expand, you can, install a Config Hub, register, and have that same experience centrally as well. So you're right. Typically, you may not use Config Hub as a central management in a smaller installation, but we are bringing that same configuration experience locally, and then as you expand, you'll be able to use Configuration Hub. Yeah, thanks for the kudos on the publish for staging. We do recognize that when you make changes, you don't want to compromise running systems. We're also doing a number of features going forward around being able to do those publish updates with zero downtime. Simplicity has a few things in 2026, and as we move to more recent technologies like containerization, that will become more capable as well. Gregory Hedrick, our clients have fleet of machines, each running HMI servers and local historians. Can Config Hub support rollout of project updates across multiple servers from a single master? Yes. Again, depending on which products you are using, that, like I showed, you can centrally, you'll be able to register all of those servers and historians. And so you'll be able to go into Configuration Hub, make modifications, and then publish those modifications across multiple servers. One of the things that Historian did in its implementation is not only can you configure a single server or viewer, but you can actually take the changes on one server, and it has a deployment mechanism to push configuration changes out to multiple servers at once, and then you would publish those as you're ready as well. Because we're building a web-based interface to our products, what that also does is it means behind the scenes we're building REST APIs to support that. And we're also looking to productize the documentation on those West interfaces such that you could, programmatically do similar things with our products through a West interface. Is Hub supports, Config Hub support simplicity redundant servers? Yes, as I mentioned, as we bring that, the full simplicity configuration experience into Configuration Hub, you'll be able to have both your primary and backup server registered with Config Hub, so that you can, it's essentially you're just taking the same thing you could do before locally and centralizing it. So yes, the answer is yes there.
Still got a lot of questions to go.
Yeah. How are we doing on time? We got time, right?
We got time. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Vadim, does latest Configuration Hub version iFix plugin support terminal servers? I'll say mostly yes. I think there's a few other features that are coming either in 26 or 27 that have better support, or kind of, today there's some tooling and utilities in iFix that lets you manage those, that terminal server capabilities, and those we're looking to bring. I don't know if all of those have been brought into Configuration Hub, but again, the goal is to bring the full configuration experience in there. And if, I will just kind of put a plug in here for our ideas portal as well. As you, start using this technology and this capability, if you run into anything that's not working the way you expect it to, please go ahead and log ideas into our ideas portal so that we're aware of some of the things that you're wanting to be able to do. Sounds like similar question, Shannon Looper. How does Configuration Hub work with hot standby pairs of iFix servers? So similarly, you have the ability to register both your primary and backup in Configuration Hub, and it essentially works the same way it does locally. In order to configure, a redundant server, it has to be put into maintenance mode, and that you can do all of that. I hope I'm answering that right. If we have further questions, we can pull in our iFix experts, but essentially we follow the same patterns that exist today, where you put it in maintenance mode so that you can make changes, and you can do that all centrally from Configuration Hub as well, just like you can locally. Michael, if you install Config Hub, can you use the original config interfaces if you like? Yeah, like I mentioned, so far we haven't deprecated existing configuration interfaces, although we are looking to, over time, as the capabilities become, well, two things: as they become more fully all in to the Configuration Hub interface, that we'll expect people to start using those. But as I mentioned, in 2026, iFix is bringing that same configuration experience, the SCU configuration experience, fully into a web-based experience that you can run locally, not just through Config Hub. So even if you don't install Config Hub, that experience of configuring an iFix project is being modernized and you can open that up in a local browser and do that. And as part of that, over the next couple of releases, you will start to see some of those utilities that are older and replaced be deprecated. So I think it's worth kind of thinking about preparing for that. But as of right now, none of them have been kind of removed from the product. We expect there will be a transition period there. Okay, Ron, do you have recommendations on where to locate Configuration Hub and License Manager? Is the installation light enough to install on another central node like Historian, or should it be installed? It is designed to be able to do both. It can be installed on the same server as another Proficy product. And, like a lot of performance questions, it really comes down to how much, load are you going to put on that server? Like, how many concurrent users do you expect will be using Configuration Hub? Or how much memory is on the machine that you're actually running multiple products on? So, it is designed to run side by side or independently. I think the more things you're managing centrally, the more you would want to install, on separate nodes, and is designed to be installed on the same node or separate nodes. Even the Proficy authentication is designed to be able to run on the same node as Configuration Hub or on a separate node. So it's really ready to kind of handle the different loads you may want to put on it. And if you're starting small and you're not managing too many nodes, and if you don't have a ton of concurrent users, then you can save hardware by installing it on the same server. How does the license work? Can we use it on another computer, or if the first one breaks down? So again, from a configuration hub point of view, there is no license for configuration hub. You essentially can install it, and then as you register products with Configuration Hub, those products, of course, continue to need to be licensed, and you can even manage some of those licenses from Configuration Hub. So, but from a Configuration Hub point of view, there's no license needed to run Configuration Hub. It's just part of our portfolio configuration experience. Okay, I think I lost my place. There we go. Okay. Thomas, many customers are pushing for Win 11 and Windows Server 2025 upgrades. As mentioned, WebSpace is currently having issues with Windows 11 and not supported in 2025. What's the plan on that? Okay, yeah, so that's a very frequent question recently, because there are some issues we're running into on Windows 11. I'll kind of say two things. One, we are planning a WebSpace 2026 release sometime before, sometime the August timeframe. It will include support for Windows Server 2025 for sure, and Windows 11. However, I will caution that going forward in subsequent releases, support for non-server OSs will be deprecated. I think it's worth kind of mentioning that, because there is a number of, for WebSpace, those non-server Windows OSs just are very problematic for whatever reason. So we are going to support Windows 11, absolutely Windows Server 2025, but be aware that going forward, when WebSpace will, as we go into the next few years, will start to be kind of server OS only. Tom Benno, can config be migrated? Example, small one system iFix later expands to multiple systems, and sound config will be encouraged. Easily move to another system, for sure. So again, as I mentioned, Configuration Hub actually does not keep or host the actual product interfaces. Those come from the product themselves. So, really all you would be migrating is any, and it's the same thing with Proficy Authentication. Those users and groups aren't stored with Config Hub, they're stored with Proficy Authentication and exposed centrally through that node manager concept I talked about to Config Hub. So Config Hub itself is relatively lightweight and can be easily kind of reinstalled on a different server. The only caveat there, of course, is when you install that Windows or that Configuration Hub a second time on a different server, you would have to at least today, you would have to re-register your nodes. It doesn't necessarily bring across those registrations today, although that would be a great thing to put in the ideas portal, because I can see how that migration could be made easier. Better picture, I have around 30 facilities with Simplicity GPU. Okay, this is back to the question we had before. Way to centralize the maintenance parts for all those locations regarding HMI applications and PLC programs. Okay, so anything to do with our Proficy products, we are going to be managing inside of Configuration Hub. In terms of third-party products like PLC programs and things like that, unless those are kind of maintained with a project itself, we don't have any plans. And maybe we can talk more about details of what you're trying to accomplish there, but I appreciate the more detailed explanation. So, but we currently don't have a lot of plans around bringing third-party configuration, although we could consider exposing the way to build we call them plugins. A Configuration Hub plugin is something that registers with and can be managed inside of Configuration Hub. It's foreseeable that we expose that as a toolkit where you could write your own Configuration Hub plugin, or a third party could choose to do that. But we don't have any plans outside of our Proficy products so far to support configuration from Configuration Hub. Sanel, are there any changes in the to the iFix tag modeling in the new version of Config Hub? I don't think there's any specific changes around the modeling capability, but again, it will continue to be supported inside of Configuration Hub. If you have suggestions on how to make it better, again, I would encourage you to use the Ideas portal. And I think Ben or Paul, if we can make that, remake that Ideas portal link available to folks, it might be good to do that.
We can make sure we include it. There's a question here around please sharing the link to the webinar. So yeah, we're going to send the link to this webinar recording and a bunch of other information. And I think we can ask Nida and Karina to make sure that we include a link to the Ideas portal, definitely. And cool. There was a great example at our partner conference in Italy this year, where a partner said, they put their ideas there and they're going to be released in 2026. So I think we got time for just a couple more questions. We've got one more there.
Oh yeah. Is there a list of the TCP UDP ports which are used for each specific product plugins and configuration? Now, let's say I want to use remote config up from the machine, the product and DMZ network, etc. I don't know that if we expose that today, but again, as we saw in the architecture, we do have that node manager which could query and just kind of make that available. One thing I'll mention is our integrated installer does have functionality as you're installing Proficy products on the same box to kind of show you the ports it's going to be using, and automatically handles port conflicts. But it's an interesting idea to be able to expose the list of ports centrally in Config Hub. Again, I would suggest and invite you to put an idea in the Ideas portal there so that we can track that.
Yeah. And then I think there was one around that we thought of before. People obviously that are turning up or in existing projects that have been there for a long time, maybe what's the path? How do they use this in a new product? Makes sense in a new project, but how are they going to use it in a project that's been live for many years? How do they do that? Yeah,
again, that support for Configuration Hub came, I think, in the 2022-2023 timeframe. As you move those projects into later versions of the Proficy products, they will have that ability to register with Configuration Hub. If it's older, like 10.0 or 9.5 or whatever, depending on the product, they aren't aware of Config Hub. But at a certain point, and we can kind of go back and find that point exactly, but certain point, really we would encourage you to upgrade them. If you upgrade to the latest version of the product, it'll have Config Hub registration ability.
Perfect.
So,
and
I think there was another question that just came in there too. Yeah.
A sneak peek about integration with ThingWorx and Kepware, but I don't know where.
Yeah. That is an active conversation, right? You were pretty fresh getting together, and so the teams are certainly starting to have conversations, and we absolutely want to find ways to bring that into an integrated experience, especially if you think about Kepware. You may know that our IGS offering is essentially just Kepware rebranded. So, we will look to bring that together more fully. And because we are now one company, a lot of interesting and cool things we can now expose that we didn't necessarily have before with IGS. Like certain, special drivers like Siemens S7 Plus, we didn't have available in IGS. Now we'll be able to expose that. So definitely plans to integrate for sure.
If this is really quick, we're running out of time now.
Batch. So I think you're referencing the fact that we can do some stuff with OpsHub with Batch. I know we recently are starting conversations again about how we bring Batch back into the folder or update it. So certainly a conversation about anything we do to upgrade configuration. The first thought will be, let's bring it into Config Hub. So as we consider how we do that with Batch, that would be where we do any updates, would be to bring it into Config Hub. Okay, perfect. That was awesome. Great questions.
Let's wrap up today's session. Look, there's been a lot of great questions there, and I absolutely love it. So but also please do follow up with us. You know, we want to help you make sure you get your projects right first time. So again, there's myself, there's Paul, you've got Chad's details now. Reach out to us. Thanks very much for everyone's, you know, the expertise, the energy you've shown today, and you continue to show, the partnerships that you bring from the SI community. You know, what you're doing really is, you know, it's helping us, you know, turn that kind of idea into, you know, real customer impact, and we're really excited for what the future holds. So yeah, really exciting times. Look for more information coming forward, and if there's anything that we can help support you with, then don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks everyone for your time, and we'll see you on the next one.